welcome to this week's episode of Ragnapod. I'm co-hosting today. I'm Dale Leash, and I'm joined by...
I'm Scott Johnson.
Brady Petrie.
Tommy Hicks.
Everybody else is at their various and sundry holiday events for this Thanksgiving week.
I'm curious. He said that you're a co-host. Which one of us is the other one?
All three of you.
Okay,
we're all hosting together. We're one big happy skeleton crew of a family here.
We did it, y'all. We made it.
Having four co-hosts has never gone wrong with anything.
No. It just ask the View. Boy, that's a
wow. That was deep.
Yeah, that was deep.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of talk about tariffs so far since the election and even prior to the election, and so we'll talk about sort of a local angle to the tariff argument, and this is actually a tariff on a particular good that's happening to kind of help some of our coastal fishermen. Can you enlighten us on what's going on, Brady?
Yeah, regardless of how you feel about tariffs, I think this is one that most people, especially people here on the Gulf Coast, can agree is one that has been needed for a while. But last week, the International Trade Commission levied tariffs on a lot of foreign companies in places like Vietnam, Ecuador, India, that are basically they're conducting these operations called shrimp dumping. It's where they'll go out, they'll catch all this shrimp, and they'll bring it back and really just oversaturate the local market here.
So shrimp dumping is not what happens the day after you eat shrimp from Costco.
Now, that may be what happens to you.
Okay.
But the general consensus about shrimp dumping is just oversaturation of the market.
I'm clipping that out of the podcast.
Yeah, please do. I don't want to be associated with anything in that realm. But
they got a good shrimp cocktail. I just eat too much,
Well, that was evident yesterday by our potluck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, shrimpers here have been hurt for a long time by this. I mean, it drove the price down. I talked to one shrimper who's been here since the early 80s, and he said that basically these companies, by operating this shrimp dumping, have basically lowered the prices of some shrimps from like $8 a pound to $1 a pound.
Wow.
And so that meant that, a lot of these companies have gone under. The ones still in business, we're having to go out into the Gulf more often to try to make up what they were losing out in terms of revenue. And so these tariffs, they'll charge these companies a higher percentage point than they will of any other local company that's bringing shrimp in from the Gulf, and hopefully in an attempt to really curb them from dumping any shrimp here locally.
Now, this was having an impact on our fishing communities. I'd heard horror stories out of Biola Battery about people just abandoning their shrimp boats.
Yeah, and I mean, Biola Battery Mayor Henry Barnes talked to him about the ruling, and he said it's welcome because at the rate things were going, Bayou La Battery was on the verge of becoming a ghost town in a couple of years, because I mean that seafood is the heart and soul of that community, and if you continue to let things go the way they were going, shrimpers are going to pick up and leave town and go elsewhere, just shutter completely. And so he's hopeful. I mean, this isn't going to completely fix the issue, but it is a key step along the way into hopefully providing some financial relief to a lot of these shrimpers.
Okay, that's great. Do we know when these tariffs will take effect?
Yeah, they go into effect next year, and the percentage points will vary depending on the country. Because Ecuador is a larger player in this whole practice than, say, Vietnam or India is, and so Ecuador will pay a larger tariff than, say, India and Vietnam, but they will go into effect next year, and then they're still trying to figure out, what will happen with the tariff. There's been some talk that maybe some of the shrimping companies here could benefit from some of the financial incentives from these tariffs and everything. So it remains to be seen what they're going to actually do with the money, but it seems like shrimpers could benefit in more ways than one.
We've heard a lot about the seafood industry down here. Obviously, we are the newspaper down here. We're near the coast. So that's going to happen. We're going to keep it on the water in that regard, and we're going to talk about what they're doing with this. We've talked a lot about Dredge material and dredge spoil. So Scott, you have a story this week in the paper, this holiday paper, about another project they're doing with dredge spoil, right?
Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about what's going on there.
Good attempt at a segue there, Dale. You almost had the landing.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I'll get there. We're not all pros.
No, Dolphin Island just wrapped up their East End restoration project, which utilized dredge material. So of course, the Mobile Bay shipping channel has to annually be dredged to make sure it's not getting filled in with soil, silt,
Right.
sand, etc. And so what happens to that material is, it's pretty controversial. It either gets shipped out into the Gulf, it gets redistributed into the bay, or it gets brought up onto land. And actually, over on Blakely Island, there's massive upland disposal areas. I didn't realize how large they were until I looked on Google Earth, and I mean, they're just huge. It's crazy, but you never see them; they're hidden. Anyway, but so Dolphin Island is constantly needing projects because of erosion,
right?
Sea level rise. They constantly need more sand to restore the beaches, and so this story really dives into something they're pushing for. On a larger scale, which is a programmatic permit with the Corps.
Okay.
Which would be the first time in the nation, if they get it, it'd be the first example of this kind of permit being awarded, which basically you get one blanket permit to use dredge material, and then you can apply it to any specific project that kind of falls under that.
Okay.
Without having to re-engage the Corps through a permitting process, which is expensive, timely. And a big thing with using the channel dredge is time, because they're on a schedule. They're going to be dredging it anyway, and your project has to align with that schedule.
That timeline.
And if you can't get there, you can't use it. So it's a really cool cooperative project where the Corps is working hand in hand with Alabama, Dolphin Island to, hey, we don't want to waste this material. We're dredging it anyway. We want to put it to good use, and so it's really cool, and it'd be really interesting to see if they actually get awarded that permit. So
yeah, let's. I mean, you might as well use it if it's available, right? Like let's go ahead and make use of it. The last thing I want to talk about, and I know Kyle isn't here. He took his Thanksgiving break early. But I do want to, in the spirit of Kyle Hamrick, I do want to talk about a story that I got way too excited about. And while the rest of you guys all look at your phones, I'll just sit here and talk.
What's your story about, Dale? It has something to do with the ship, right?
It does. This is the third straight story that involves water in this first segment.
It's almost like we live in Mobile or the Gulf Coast.
Yeah. So, we've heard a lot about the USS Enterprise possibly being dismantled here in Mobile. Well, the same company that's could be doing that is going to be cleaning up and preparing a gigantic ocean liner that currently still holds the transatlantic speed record, and that is the SS United States. Back when they used ships to travel from place to place still before planes were really, commercial air flight was really a thing.
When did they set the speed record? Was it in the 50s?
It was
probably?
50s or 60s, yeah. And it's still active, but that's only because they don't do it anymore.
I was
going to get to that.
I was about to say, what happened to our country? Well, we're no longer breaking records from the 50s.
No one uses ships for travel like that anymore.
Big airline doesn't want us to break this record.
No,
that's what it is.
That's exactly right. So the SS United States is going to be going to travel from Philadelphia, where it's currently docked, to Mobile to be taken to be cleaned and prepared at Mars here on the river, and then it will eventually make its way to Okaloosa County, Florida, where it will become the world's largest artificial reef. It'll be sunk and it'll become a reef. But this is very interesting. I talked to a man who lives in Fairhope that in 1957 he was in second or third grade and was on the SS United States because his dad and his family were headed to Germany, where the dad was stationed with the Army. And he talked glowingly about the ship. It was larger than the Titanic, faster than the Titanic. A really fun stat about the SS United States is that it was faster in reverse than the Titanic was moving forward. So that's how much faster it was than the Titanic. It was 100 feet longer than the Titanic and also wider than the Titanic. So this thing is absolutely massive, and we will have the pleasure of seeing it. You could be able to see it from downtown Mobile, from like Royal Street if you want to. And this man that I talked to, his name is Chuck Bryan. He and his 95-year-old mother will be among the folks that will take a gander at it when it's here in Mobile, being prepared to be reefed in Florida. So, pretty exciting stuff. I really enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed too much being able to learn about this ship, and it's going to be really cool, and I'm excited to see it. It'll be a few weeks to a month before we start to see it. Then once it gets here, it's 6 months, 4 to 6 months of preparations, and then in Okaloosa County, not only will they sink it to become a reef, but they'll also build an on-land museum that will honor the SS United States. So it's all good news for the ship, and it's exciting stuff. And on that note, we will take a break and we'll barrel right into sports and hopefully not talk about Alabama and Oklahoma too much. Anyway, we will see y'all in just a minute. And we are back with Tommy Hicks, and we're going to talk a little bit about sports. And I guess we're going to start with the game that's on everybody's mind, which is the Iron Bowl, which will be played Saturday at 2:30.
It's a lot more interesting right now than it was a week ago.
Yeah, sure. Unless you're ESPN, Auburn can make a bowl game if they win. If Alabama wins, they still have a chance of making the playoff.
Outside
even though
shot, yes.
I don't think they deserve it at this point. But yeah. So that's going to be a bigger game than we all thought possible. I mean, Auburn beating Texas A&M, while not a surprise because they were playing in that voodoo palace that is Jordan Hare, was a really thrilling game and really put Auburn in a position to be somewhere I don't think we thought they were going to be a few weeks ago. So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, obviously Auburn's going to come in with a lot more confidence than they might have previously. Alabama, there's some questions there, question marks. You lost to a team that you shouldn't have lost to. I mean, it's just pretty simple. I mean, Oklahoma is not having that great a season, and everybody expected Alabama to just win that game going away and then step into the Iron Bowl and then keep its playoff slot available, and that did not happen. So one, you get Alabama that's going to be wants to prove itself again against its biggest rival at home, where they've won the last 6 games at least that have been played there. Yeah. So you still got to figure what I think. Brady, who doesn't know anything about gambling but looked it up on the internet, that Alabama was an 11.5 point favorite. Is that still the number?
But according to my sources, yes. That is the current spread.
And when you look at the whole season and compare the two teams, Alabama is a team that should win this game.
Yeah, but they should have won the last game too, so who knows?
Yes, the shoulda, coulda doesn't really matter a whole lot when these two get together. So this game, besides making Auburn eligible for a bowl game, this would be their bowl game beyond that game, because if they could knock Alabama completely out of any playoff situation and get that win, that would be big. And
play spoiler and also make a bowl game. That's enough motivation.
They got all the motivation in the world. So I think it's going to be a more interesting game than we certainly thought it would be.
Great.
Just a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But that's what makes this game fun.
I hate Auburn so much. I do.
The feeling is mutual.
I know. They're so despicable, and I have to sit here.
That is so sad.
I know. I can't help it. This
is why we can't let him be in charge anymore.
There's too much Bama in me. I can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm King Gump, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So let's move on to we're gonna talk about USA making Auburn has a chance to make a bowl game. South Alabama is going to make a bowl game.
Yep. They wrapped that up last week by defeating Southern Miss
in Hattiesburg.
In Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
They've never lost to Southern Miss since the team's been together in the Sun Belt. So,
well, part of that's because Southern Miss has been god awful, but
they have not been their best of late. How's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
They used to be a lot better.
They did.
So South made a bowl game. Do they still have a chance to lock up the division?
Here is what must happen this weekend.
It's the Sun Belt West, correct?
Sun Belt West Division. Sun Belt is the only conference left now that still uses division play in football. So, what must happen is obviously one, South has to beat Texas State, which they play at 2:30 on Friday at Hancock Whitney Stadium. Texas State was a team in the preseason was picked to win the league, but it's not even going to win its division. It's
right.
And they got smashed last week by one of the worst teams in the league. So will they be angry,
right,
coming in or whatever? So that's going to be obviously number one thing that has to happen. The number two thing that has to happen is that Louisiana Monroe has to beat Louisiana. And that's, you wouldn't think that on paper is going to be the case.
Yeah.
I thought their better chance of Louisiana losing another game was last week against Troy, and they stomped Troy.
Yeah.
51-30, I believe, was the final. So they regained their focus after losing to South.
Right.
But and I'm sure they'll be dead-eye focused on this because now everything rides for Louisiana for their season rides this weekend. They've got to beat Monroe. Monroe has to beat them. Remember, they came in to South weeks ago with a 5-1 record. Well, they haven't won a game since.
Right.
They lost to South and have lost every game since. They got to win to be bowl eligible. And you got to beat Louisiana now. Monroe's at home.
Yeah.
That will be some help. But anyway, if that all falls together, then South would win the tiebreaker that would make them the West Division representative in the Sun Belt Championship game next week.
That would be amazing for South to after the tumultuous offseason they had, losing the head coach and all and whatnot, to make a bowl game is great. It'd be their but to win the division would be crazy given what has happened, and sort of it's really been a fun sort of league to watch because you thought there were going to be some people that would like stand out, and then you saw them kind of come back to earth, both in the East and the West.
Yeah, so Appalachian State would be one. I mean,
App State got absolutely housed by South earlier in the year. So it's been a fun. I never paid that much attention to Sun Belt. I was an SEC boy, graduating from Alabama, but lately it has been fun to watch the Sun Belt, and I've been very pleased with
it's
the
results. Fun Belt, man.
It is. It really is. They call it that for a reason. All right, we're going to move on to high school football, where we're into the quarterfinals, semifinals. My fault. What are the big games for local teams?
Well, we only have 3 left, but every game involves a number one ranked team.
Nice.
In Class 6A, number 1 Saraland is playing at Pike Road. All of our teams are on the road this week. Not helpful.
No.
In Class 5A, Viger has to go to number 1 Montgomery Catholic. And in 4A, St. Michael has to go to number 1 Jackson, a team that beat them 55-16 during the regular season.
Okay.
Now, St. Michael is a much better team at this stage than they were when they played Jackson originally, but Jackson's also gotten better as the season's gone along. So that's going to be, your heart says, man, how cool would it be for St. Michael to make the championship game this early in their program history?
Correct.
That would be cool, but man, that's going to be a huge task to be
tall order.
Jackson.
Yeah, and Ashley Trice went to Jackson. She's a Jackson alumnus. She was the Jackson Aggie, but I can say this now because she's not here. I have family ties to St. Michael, so I hope they pull it out. I hope they win. Jackson's had enough notoriety on the football field. Let's let St. Michael's in their infancy take this championship home. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited for that game. I think that'll be fun.
Yep. Saraland has just keeps winning and winning and winning. Pike Road will have to play very well, I think, to beat them. And although Pike Road is a very good team, and then Viger has had a tremendous season as well, and they got a roster full of athletes. But Montgomery Catholic has not lost a game, and they John McKenzie, the Viger coach, said, when I look at them on film, I see us.
Yeah.
So that's going to be. I think of the three, that's going to be the most competitive game. That's going to be the best game to watch.
Yep, and Viger was team of the week this week.
Team of the week this week.
They beat UMS in the quarters last week.
Yep.
So they're riding pretty high. Chances are I guess pretty good that Saraland will go ahead and head to the Super 7.
You would think.
The other two, I had a little bit more of a question mark. Where's Super 7 being held this year?
Birmingham at Protective Stadium, and
are you packing your bags, Tommy?
We'll see after Friday. The one interesting thing about Super 7 week is, rumor is they will announce during Super 7 where the games will be played in the future. You know, Mobile has made a bid to get the Super 7 here now that Alabama and Auburn, because of the playoff scheduling, have dropped out of that rotation. Birmingham, Troy, Montgomery at Alabama State, and Mobile at Hancock Whitney are the four cities that have bid to become part of the rotation.
Let me put my prognosticator hat on for a second.
Ooh, I didn't even know he had a hat.
I think
I didn't know he had a hat either. I don't know where he's been keeping it this time.
I think some Mobile people are going to be pretty happy. We'll see, but I think they're going to get. I have a feeling the AHSAA is going to give them some love in regard to that. We'll see. I don't want to jump the gun, but I feel like just deep in my gut that Mobile's going to. Hancock Whitney Stadium is such a beautiful stadium. It's so
and it's
new.
the right size. It's 25,000. I mean,
Yeah.
when Alabama and Auburn hosted it, that was cool for the players to get to go and play on those fields.
Right.
But even if you had 20,000,
it looked like nobody was there.
It looked like nobody was at the game, because you're looking at an 85,000 seater
And it was
and
so
100,000
quiet. Right.
seater.
It was so quiet.
So it just kind of lost the ambiance that all these games that are played on campus.
Right. No, it reminded me of whenever I was in high school and I was in the band and we played at LAD. It was very much like a high school team playing at LAD. Like no matter how many fans you brought with you to LAD, it was quiet and you couldn't hear anything because everybody was so spread out and there was nobody. It felt like there was nobody there. So this will be much more intimate. I think they're going to get some good news. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm right. But on that front, we will let you go enjoy Thanksgiving unless you want to stick around for the third segment, Tommy. And for everybody else, we'll be right back after this. We're back for the third and final segment of Ragnapod. This week, I am hosting, so we're going to have a little fun with this third segment. I don't want to talk as much about news. I'd rather talk about family and traditions and holidays, given that this is coming out on Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there in listener land. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Maybe your mother-in-law is jabbering too much and you just need a break, so you put in those AirPod Pros and have the noise cancel set all the way up, and you're listening to me talk instead of her.
And father-in-laws.
I don't want to be sexist.
Equal.
Fathers-in-law, mothers-in-law can get annoying.
Not mine.
I love my mother and father-in-law, but I have heard that others are harder to deal with. So.
I can't confirm or deny that I will be listening to this podcast tomorrow.
So while you're choking down dry turkey.
Or dry cornbread,
or
for
dry,
that
matter. Or dry cornbread. You can listen to us instead. On that note, though, I do want to talk about some Thanksgiving things, and one of the things I want to talk about, and I always enjoy it, brings up good conversation among this group of folks, is what is your favorite Thanksgiving side? And let me just tell you, I already know that Kyle Hamrick enjoys stuffing or dressing or whatever you call it. That's his favorite. But let's go around the table. What do you like, Brady?
I like mac and cheese, but
Oh my God.
if I have my choice, it's the baked mac and cheese.
I agree.
That's the most vanilla white boy side of all time.
Hey, look, it's a consistent winner. It's hard to mess up mac and cheese. It's consistently good.
Here's
but if
the
it's a
thing.
baked mac and cheese, give me that all
Thanksgiving
day
is
long.
not for you. Is not.
I'm sorry.
is
Did we have a
big-
potluck yesterday? Did we? We had one, right?
And the mac and cheese.
And mac and cheese was a side there. So I rest my case.
Anyway.
No. But Thanksgiving isn't about just bearable. It's hard to mess it up. Thanksgiving is a performance.
Well, if you're limiting it to just stuff that you can only have on Thanksgiving, you're really only talking
Green
about
bean casserole?
dress. I mean,
Oh, okay.
to be fair, you can
That's
make
a-
green bean casserole at Christmas or Easter just
true.
whenever you want. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
but I mean, I guess
Anyway. I will
some
die
good
on this
Betty
hill.
White mac and cheese. I guess
I was going
Never
to tell
hurt
you.
anybody.
I was going to tell you any other day of the year, or like if I'm not trying to be fancy, the blue box mac and cheese is my go-to. I love it.
Yeah.
Just put the butter in there, put the milk in there, stir it up. It's fantastic. Me and my daughter love it. But you're right. On Thanksgiving, I'm making it special.
Oh, 1,000%.
I'm pulling out the evaporated milk.
Mhm.
I'm making the bechamel,
Yep.
and I'm going to town on that. I
Yeah.
get you 100%.
I can eat
Now,
a
do
whole
you-
tray of.
Now, do you prefer mac and cheese with the traditional macaroni, or do you like a different kind of pasta style?
I'm honestly not too picky when it comes to that. To give me
You're picky when it comes to everything
else,
Yeah.
absolutely. But for this, if it's baked mac and cheese, I'll eat it regardless of what's in it.
I mean, I have yet to see anybody who makes a baked mac and cheese that actually uses elbow macaroni.
Right.
I don't care either, but I mean, you get some of that. You get like cavatelli
Yes.
or the spiral
The
pastas.
spiral pasta, yeah.
That truly
Oh,
is.
it takes it to an entirely
It
different level.
does, because you get like the cheese and like the crevices of the spirals,
Right.
and it's just like you get like a pop of flavor every time you take a bite. It's fantastic. I love it.
I'm about to leave and go find me some baked mac and cheese somewhere.
Hey, you should go across the next door.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
It's not baked, but it's delicious.
It's delicious. Yeah.
This has been a controversial take because I think about half the audience knows what it is, and I had to explain to all of you what it is. But corn casserole or corn pudding is my favorite side. I only have it once a year at Thanksgiving. My mother-in-law makes it. She didn't make it one year, and me and my wife's aunt just about strangled her to death because we didn't have it. She did not. She's not made that mistake since we complained about it.
Yeah.
She has made it every time. I also enjoy stuffed eggs, and I'm saying stuffed eggs because of my wife's grandmother who won't say deviled eggs. So we love stuffed eggs. We love, don't we, folks? Stuffed eggs and corn casserole. How about you, Scott? What do you like? Brussels sprouts?
What is your pretentious take here on the Thanksgiving sides?
The premier Thanksgiving side is hands down green bean casserole.
Boo!
No.
Absolutely. I mean,
It's terrible.
okay,
It's overrated.
if you don't make it right, it is terrible. But it is a premier side.
The only way to make it correctly is to bake it and throw it directly in the garbage.
Immediately throw it in the trash. Yeah.
Oh,
you know
my
what you
gosh.
typically don't
Okay,
have to worry
it's
about
either-
messing up mac and cheese.
Oh my god!
By the way, here's a story about green bean casserole. It was green bean casserole was developed in part by the Campbell Soup Company to sell
Big soup.
people more
Big
soup.
yeah.
You are a pawn in the big soup market, my friend.
all right. Well, I guess moving over, maybe a less controversial one is I like a good broccoli salad.
Oh, broccoli salad is
Yeah.
delicious. yes.
You get like you throw in raisins and bacon.
You can keep the raisins.
I
I'll
don't
take
need the
bacon.
raisins, but
It's
but
incredible.
The bacon and the cheese
Cheese,
and the
yeah.
dressing and the broccoli. It's phenomenal. You get the crunch of the broccoli and the
Love
bacon. You get
Yeah.
the creaminess of the.
But you
Of
have
the
to have
dressing
the,
is
you have to have the
fantastic.
pop of the sweetness. You need the raisins. in it.
Well, no, yeah, I get.
Maybe you can replace it with some other kind of sweet.
I get
thing,
why.
but you need that pop of sweet.
And we did have our Thanksgiving potluck here at the office. It's the first time that I remember us ever doing it. Hopefully it becomes an annual thing because it was phenomenal. It was nice to spend time with people that I spend time with all the time, but in a different way. I was going to say people I don't see very often, but I see your ugly faces every single day.
I see you guys more than I see my wife.
I know. It's very, very sad. But we're
that fact just hit me like a brick wall.
Yeah, we had a really good time. All kind of, we were visiting, we were listening to music, we were choking on various sides. So it was a very, very, very good time. I want to ask you one more thing. I know you two in particular fight with your wives kind of in a friendly way, not like a physical altercation way, over when the Christmas decorations come up. So let me ask you as a man, are your Christmas decorations up yet?
No.
You've won the battle, my brother.
I won the battle this year. Last year, I lost it pretty early, and I put down the fight pretty easily last year. But this year, I've managed to stave off any Christmas decorations. In fact, my wife yesterday called me after our potluck and was like, "Hey, I'm going to grab a tote box from Walmart, and we're going to store our Thanksgiving or our Halloween and Thanksgiving decorations in there, and we're going to put up our Christmas decorations the day before we leave to go back up for Thanksgiving." And I was like, "Why don't we just wait until we get back for Thanksgiving?" And to my surprise, she was on board with it. So
that makes sense for you guys. So you're going to do it. It'll be December before you put your Christmas decorations up.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. That's perfectly fine. Let's do that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Here's the real kicker, Scotty. Are your Christmas decorations
my
up? My
decorations have been up since the day after Halloween.
Wow.
Since November 1st, my friend. It was like, you remember that scene in Elf where he walks into the toy store and it's all decorated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like coming home from work. I walk in and I'm literally making those faces, the things that have just been hung from the ceiling. Like she went and crafted these like snowflakes.
Yeah.
But made them 3-dimensional, cut through snowflake cutouts. I just felt like that guy walking in and like poking it, like, who the heck did this in the...
Well, she's a talented lady. I get that.
She is, and
absolutely.
she did it all while I was at work, so I couldn't protest. So
Yeah, I mean, see, for
Boy,
me,
she knows how to do it, man.
she's incredibly strong when I'm not there. Like you brought that tree down from the base, down from the attic. I can barely pick that thing up.
She was determined. She was determined to get that up before you came home. And she was not going to ask for any help. I like that.
I mean, for me, the decorations are that's not why I'm opposed to it. It's just the act of taking everything down and putting it up, because it just as sure as the world, I'll hang up some kind of Christmas themed painting or something that my wife has, and she'll say, "No, I don't want it there. I want it completely over here." And then she'll change her mind 1,000 times, and it's just it's a whole process.
And then our buddy Kyle lives by himself. And he has a fake tree that he puts up for Christmas, then leaves it up for Mardi Gras. I've heard about that darn Mardi Gras tree forever.
If I have to hear it one more time, I'm going to go cut down that fake tree and do something with it. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do something.
Anyway, so I can't ask him I don't think he's put his Christmas tree up yet, but I know he and his girlfriend were talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know that they have either, but I imagine that they'll be.
I mean, they don't. He lives by himself. Right. Yeah. I want to reiterate, but I think it sounds like she might have a say in his decorating from now on. So
they're getting to that point in their relationship.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Love to talk about a man who's not here to defend himself.
No, right? It's so easy.
It's great. It's great. For those of you that are just dying to hear about what my traditions are, I'm sure you're all on the edge of your seats. We wait until usually the Friday after Thanksgiving. This year we may wait another day because we may do it on Iron Bowl Saturday. Just because I really want to take my daughter to the USA game, the last one at home, and that's Friday afternoon, and that's going to cut into our tree decorating time. So we may put it off till Saturday or even Sunday, but we usually wait until after Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Always has been, and we do a big family thing in Pascagoula every year with my wife's family, and it's a lot of fun. So I let that be its own thing, and then as soon as we wake up the next day, I'm thinking about going and getting the real Christmas tree because I'm a real Christmas tree dude, and so is my wife. That's why we work well together, is because we have very strong opinions, but we agree. on almost everything.
Right.
So she truly is my best friend and someone that I love dearly. And we don't argue that much because we actually agree. It's nice. But on that note, we're going to call it a day here at Lagnapod at Lanyap headquarters as the office slowly people leave the office and just wave at us as we're sitting here recording this. So we're going to head on out and we're going to enjoy holidays with our families. Y'all do the same. As always, we love you to death and hope to see you after the holiday. Thank you so much.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. Music is by Some Pole Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lanyapwebbill.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.